I saw a clip from your work that one of your favorite ways, or maybe your favorite way to perceive and interact with reality was Kant's transcendental idealism. So could you
Mm.
unpick that a little bit for me and Jacob and the people listening?
Yeah. So what Kant said is that, um, and this is like quite metaphysical, right? It's about the nature of reality. And what he said is that the world that we see is something he called phenomena, right? And the phenomena is not the actual objects and things within themselves, which he called noumena. And because our experiences are filtered through time and space and our senses, what we actually understand of the world is the phenomena, but not the noumena. And that is the core idea in his transcendental idealism. And I think it's a very powerful way to understand metaphysics. And it's also something that's been kind of confirmed in neuroscience, right? Since Kant. And I think is a very powerful framework, and really it just resonates with me that everyone has their own subjective experience of the world that is tempered by time, space, and their senses, and it can sort of explain human subjectivity a little bit.
So
That kind of makes sense.
just to flesh this out a second, do you mean like we see the world based on like our perceptual mold over it? Like when I look at my laptop, I don't see what it actually is, which is this sort of complex electrical system that I would have no idea how to create or even fix if it went wrong. What I see is access to my work and my writing and the podcast and a world of information via like the internet and all this kind of stuff. I see the function. I see what it serves for me in my life. I don't actually see the thing. Same way when I look at a coffee cup or I look at my water bottle or I look at I don't know, my toothbrush in the bathroom. I see how it serves my goals and how it serves my worldview rather than the actual thing in and of itself. Is that the same lines?
You're on the right lines, but I think Kant would take it a level deeper than that. So we're talking about like on the genuine metaphysical level, the laptop, the thing, that the construction of atoms that you call your laptop is, you're seeing the phenomena of a laptop. You're not actually seeing the thing in and of itself. We have no idea what the thing
Right.
actually objectively is.
So I'm seeing my idea of what that I call a laptop. Because actually, you're right. When does this, we had a conversation with an architect yesterday, and he made this like structure that he called silent car, which was like 4 doors and 5 chairs in a parking space. And it was
Yeah.
kind of to make us question, when does a car become a car? And I think that in the same context here with this laptop, when does this construction of atoms become a laptop? Because if it's just a screen, it's not. If it's just the keys, it's not. If they don't work together, it's not. It's actually on a very fine like precipice, what I actually consider to be a laptop. But I do imprint that idea on this physical thing, but it's not the physical thing. Okay, I'm with you. Carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. And an easy way, like the way I try to think about it, is just comparing two people. And this is obviously a simplification of Kant. But if two people who have different physical bodies, right, that interpret the world in different ways, look at the same thing. For me and you look at your laptop, except I'm, say, colorblind, or the particular way that my eyes are tuned, uh, it absorbs the light rays that come off that object into my brain in a slightly different way to yours. I would see a different phenomena to you. The laptop would be slightly more gray for me or slightly more green. And yours is a slightly different color. We're both looking at the laptop, but both of us have an experience of phenomena of the laptop. And Kant would say neither of us actually see what the thing actually is. Because the actual fact of us having to see it, we have no idea what that thing is. It's just that we have an approximation of this object in front of us. And then society tells us is the laptop, actually. Is a category that we apply to this arrangement of atoms, but we have no idea what this thing genuinely actually is outside of the context of our senses.
So it's like neither of us are right, whether this is a laptop or not.
Certainly not objectively right. No.
Wow.
So does sorry, just because I'm interested in, is this transcendental idealism used in the context of morality then, in the same way that neither of us see this laptop the same or are right in calling it a laptop, we also don't see moral circumstances or reality itself in the same way or in an accurate way. We're all just experiencing multiple phenomena at the same time that are individual to us, and that's where the subjectivity about morality can come from, because we're not looking at the same thing in a
Yeah.
sense.
So my understanding of Kant, and I might be wrong here, but my understanding of Kant is that his ethics, so his categorical imperative and the transcendental idealism, kind of sit in two different worlds, right? Because he, on one level, he's talking about what is the nature of reality and what is reality in our own human minds. And then I guess in his ethics, he's talking about how we should live our lives and how we should behave in the world. The two, I guess, are connected for us, but I don't think Kant would make an explicit connection between the two. But you're right though. Like if we're seeing different things, and it's kind of been exacerbated by social media, right? You can have an event happen in the world and different people, yeah, sure, okay, because yeah, sure, they're seeing different things and it's portrayed to them in different ways in different media. But two people can look at the same event or look at the same person or look at the same object and just feel different things and have a completely different reality. So you're right. I think if you take that view, it becomes quite complicated to have, like, you do need to just bake in people's subjectivity when they're making ethical decisions.
Yeah, this reminds me of, because I'm thinking, where does this subjectivity come from? And if we assume that what it, if we assume that a pen is what our consciousness tells us is a pen, then why does our consciousness tell us that in that way? And I think it comes back to this kind of symbolic psychology, where the common thing, there's a couple common examples of this, but if you've ever seen those pictures that are kind of like illusions, where, like, say there's the most common ones of this picture online that's quite popular that's a dress, and some people see it as a blue dress and some people see it as a black dress.
Yeah.
And what and why people see it in that way, or at least see it and why people see it as a blue dress first, is because they have a different, I think it's like a different personality, or it's like they have some personality traits that are different to people that see it as a black dress. And there's another example of a common illusion of, some people see a rabbit and some people see a duck, and the people that see a rabbit have this kind of personality or this kind of brain chemistry or these kind of habits or these values. I can't remember exactly what it is, but then people that see the duck see other things. So I'm thinking the way that we see our world is largely, it could be largely stuff that we can't control if it's up to our psychology. And maybe we'd be born with that as well. So I maybe don't have any. Do I have control of how I see what a pen is? And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a nature versus nurture argument.
Yeah,
I see
I guess sorry, go ahead, Joel.
I was just going to say that I see on that control over perception thing that a lot of it is hardwired, like goal-oriented behavior. I'm a big belief that, like, perception is fueled by intention in a lot of ways. So the reason that you see the pen, Jacob, is because it serves some function to you in the world. The amount that you could perceive or see in any situation is so much that it would blow your head off. So the mind has to have a way to funnel that experience into a world that you can manipulate, because otherwise you would just get lost in the information. So the reason you see the pen and you don't see, the small fragment of, like, dust on your desk is because that's kind of irrelevant to you. I think we see in relevance, or maybe a better way to think about it is we see in value. In the value that pen provides you to behave in a certain way. It allows you to write or to draw, and you can expand that out to anything. The reason that we pay so much attention to things is because they are salient in value to us, or they provide meaning to us. And that can be as trivial as a mundane example like a pen, or it could be, the ideas you pay most attention to and how that affects what you see in the world. And all, I think it's driven a lot by value and intention and goals. But Sam, go on. What would you want to say?
I think I've forgotten what I was going to say.
That's all right. Do you agree with me though on the goal perception thing? Because that was literally one of the biggest, like, mind-blowing psychology moments early on for me when I first started being interested in this stuff, like 4 or 5 years ago, was that, like, you see what you value most.
Yeah.
And somehow you have to. I mean, it's a very Peterson idea that you do have a value hierarchy somewhere in you. You may just not be aware of it, and that's what decides what you see in relation to your goal. And that's how two people look at their lives or look at a scenery in a different way. Is because
Yeah.
they're looking for different things.
I actually think that makes a lot of sense. Um, I think our brains are extremely powerful, and this idea that they would construct a reality and a view of the world in a way that benefits us and allows for us to, see, pick up, and utilize the things that we want to, it makes a lot of sense to me. It does also remind me, though, that in our society that the three of us live in, it is a Western society that at this point is also based on consumption. And in a way, that is a utilitarian worldview, in that I see the things and I see the people and I see the phenomena that I can most consume, right? Because if I pick up the pen, I'm in a sense consuming that pen to write down stuff, right? Once that pen can no longer serve my purpose of writing, I will throw away that pen. And I do think that kind of bleeds into all aspects of Western living. We use objects till we can't use them anymore, and then we throw them away. We, on some level, engage with people in a way to consume them, right? We utilize them for our own ends. And once they can no longer serve our purpose, that, our relationship with them ends, right?